Smith, she has asked that she be rolled down 2 spaces. Without objection, we'll roll her down 2 spaces. Next on the list is House Bill 1721 by Representative Reedy. I recognize you at your desk, sir. We've got a proper motion and second. I do see an amendment. Can you give us your drafting code?
That drafting code, Mr. Chairman, is 13693.
That is correct. Do I have a motion on the amendment? Proper motion and second on the amendment. You're recognized on the amendment, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. This bill is pertaining to the disasters that had happened in the state, and on this amendment is specific to Humphreys County and Waverly. And reading right off for the record off of the fiscal note, the previous natural disaster in Sevier County resulted in an average refund of approximately $2,850 per claimant. And that's where I asked legal to draft that from. The one-time increase in this amendment is in state expenditure is fiscal year 22-23 is estimated to be $112,050, and that's taking care of 249 claimants. And of course, this bill will expire December 31st, 2022.
Any questions for the sponsor on the amendment? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on the amendment going on the bill 13693. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the amendment is now on the bill. You're recognized on the bill as amended 1721. Representative Reedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That first half of the bill before the amendment went on, of course, is permissive in a number of counties that were not only hurt by the flooding, but also the tornadoes that went through West Tennessee. But Mr. Chairman, I'll just take questions at this time.
Any questions for the sponsor? Any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on House Bill 1721 as amended. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Your bill moves on to finance. At this time, I am going to pass the gavel to Vice Chairman Wright. The next 2 bills are my bills, and then we'll take up Representative Smith. So at this time, I pass the gavel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You are recognized at your seat, at your desk. House Bill 1955. Proper motion second. Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill 1955 is the one that comes through our subcommittee that basically what it does is it allows our cities or municipalities to waive, compromise, remit, prorate, and release property taxes at a lower amount than what they are, I guess, what they're worth. To try to get these properties back on the tax roll. So that's basically what it does. The counties have this ability at this time through a different title and chapter, but we're wanting to add municipalities to be able to do the same.
Any questions for the sponsor? Representative Shaw.
Thank you. It is statewide application, right?
Chairman Crawford.
It is.
Thank you.
Any questions of the sponsor? Seeing no questions, any objection to the question? We're voting on House Bill 1955. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Bill moves on to calendar and rules. Next, item 13, House Bill 2128. Chairman Crawford. Motion. Have proper motion and second. Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a great bill, and I would invite anyone that would like to please sign on to this bill. This is the one that makes it, we kind of do it in practice now, but this will make it law that you have to be a U.S. citizen before you can vote. And that's local elections, state elections, federal elections, anything. The other thing that it does is it, as we do already, we practice it. We send a list of those that are serving on juries that are not U.S. citizens. That list goes to through the Secretary of State's office. So we make sure that everybody that serves on a jury is also a U.S. citizen. That's what the bill does.
Questions of the sponsor? Representative Love.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to ask this question about the section dealing with juries. If the information is not followed through and someone does get on the jury who is not a citizen, does that potentially nullify the verdict or so of the jury?
Chairman Crawford.
That's a legal matter that I don't feel comfortable in answering. I'll be glad to, if the chairman would allow it for legal to answer that question.
Representative Love, you wish to go out of session to ask legal?
Yes.
If there be no objection, we're out of session. Legal question from Representative Love.
Thank you, Matt Mundy, for the record. I don't know the answer to that either precisely, but I think it'd be a matter of either the court rules, how they're applied, and when the judge found out about someone who's not qualified to sit on a jury, and whether or not that'd be a question for an appellate court to review as to whether or not that verdict would stand. That's about the most information that I can give you, though.
Okay. Thank you, Matt. Also, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Love, do you have a follow-up question?
No, that was fine. Thank you.
Representative Shaw, do you have a question for legal?
I do. And maybe you would know this either, Matt, but would it fall under the same as if I served on the jury and it found out I knew the person well or something, I had a conflict, would that fall under the same section of the law where how would it affect, the verdict of the jury? If it was my brother and nobody knew it was my brother and I was on that jury, would it fall on that same section of the law?
Legal.
Thank you, Matt Mundy, for the record from legal. I don't think there's any obligation on your part as the brother to disclose that information unless it's part of the jury instructions that are handed down from the judge.
Representative Shaw, follow-up.
No, sir. I'm
Representative Chisholm, do you have a question for legal?
No, I'm on the bill.
Are there other questions for legal while we're out of session? If not, we're back in session. Representative Chisholm, you have a question for the sponsor?
Yes, to the sponsor. Are there any examples of non-citizens voting in Tennessee?
Chairman Crawford?
I am not sure about that. I think there has been, but I cannot tell you in what states or in what elections that took place. I don't know that they actually voted, but as a non-U.S. citizen, they tried to vote.
Representative Chisholm?
Okay. One more, I got another question then. If a jury coordinator does not comply with this section, is there any liability imposed?
Chairman Crawford?
Again, I think we're slipping into a different area. All this does is it requires that we use the SAVE program, which is the Systematic Alien Verification Entitlements Program, and create a list of those that are not U.S. citizens who are trying to get on the jury and serve as a jury. We already practice that now. We already do that, but this will put it in law.
Representative Chisholm, follow-up.
No further questions.
Are there other questions for the sponsor? Seeing no further questions, any objection to call for the question? If not, we're voting on House Bill 2128. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Bill passes and the bill moves on to calendar and rules. Now passed, Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that. At this time, we are still on item number 7. This will complete our calendar. House Bill 2414 by Representative Smith. Can I ask the Sergeant of Arms, will you please see if she's out there and let her know that her bill is up? And at this time, without objection, we'll take a 3-minute recess. It's been 3 minutes, so I call the local government full committee back in session. And at this time, I will take us back into recess to call the chair. Chairman calls the local government full committee back to order. I move we dispense with the roll call and move forward to item number 7 without objection. We have a proper motion and second on House Bill 2414 by Representative Smith. I do see it has an amendment. Can you please give us your drafting code?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. Thank you for your indulgence. It is 013612.
That is correct. We got a proper motion and second on the amendment. You're recognized on the amendment, Mrs. Smith.
If I might, Mr. Chairman, ask that it be amended, and I'll explain the bill because
Question's been called on the amendment. We're ready to vote on amendment 13612 going on the bill. Please say aye. Opposed, no. The amendment's now on the bill. You may discuss the bill as amended.
Thank you, Chairman. The amendment makes the bill permissive. There are 13 counties in the state of Tennessee that are self-insured. This just simply permits that the counties can comply with federal inquiries and subpoenas for HIPAA information relative to their insured lives. And this is, again, just very permissive because it's a practice that goes on, unfortunately, frequently enough. So with that, I will be glad to stand for questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for the sponsor? Chairman Moon, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thank the sponsor. This is work that began with one of our colleagues, Judge Carter. And thank you, Chair Lady Smith, for continuing to do this work. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions for the sponsor? Any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on House Bill 2414. Moving on, please say aye. Those opposed, no. Bill moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Chairman and committee.
Before we close, does any member have any announcements or personal orders? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned.